Hey guys, it's Alexandra from iloveknots.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cactus. I am using these little terracotta pots that I got at Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 3. It says 3-piece, 2.5-inch diameter clay pot. I have my G6 4.25mm crochet hook, some stuffing, and Red Heart Super Saver. This brown color is called Coffee. I'm not sure off the top of my head what this green color is called. It's a dark sage green. I will look it up and write it down in the description. I'm going to start with the brown because I'm going to make the dirt first. I'm going to start with a slip knot. I've brought the yarn over my fingers here, wrap it around my index finger 2 times, hold the tension with my middle finger and my thumb, pull the loop on the left up over the other loop but not off my finger. Now pull the loop that's now on the left up over the other one and off my finger. Take my crochet hook, insert it into the loop where my finger is. I'll hold the working yarn with my right hand and pull the short tail end with my left. And what it does is it just closes up this knot up to normal tension. Going to start with a chain 5. To chain, we yarn over the hook and pull through. Yarn over and pull through. I want 5. Now I'm going to slip stitch join to form a ring. I want to go into that very first chain, insert my hook right into the center of it, yarn over, pull through that loop and the loop that's on my hook. And now we've created this ring that we're going to work into. Chain 2. This is not counting as a double crochet. The beginning tail, we'll just hold it to the back of the chains, and as we crochet into that ring, we're going to crochet over the chains and that tail end. We're going to work 10 double crochets into that center ring. It looks like on the top there's a small ring. That is from where we joined to the first chain. We don't want to work into that ring. We want to work into the very center, the larger one. So I'm holding my tail against my chains, yarn over, insert my hook into the center ring, yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. We'll work a double crochet again together, yarn over, insert our hook into the center ring, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So we don't count this beginning chain 2, we have 2 double crochets here. We want a total of 10 double crochets all worked into that center ring. Don't forget to keep holding that tail end right behind the ring and crochet over it. I have 10 double crochets done. We're going to slip stitch join to the very first one, and if you're not sure where it is exactly, count backwards. Looking at the top of your stitches, you'll see these V shapes. Each one of those is a stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Going to insert my hook under both loops of that stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch and through the loop on my hook. Then we can hold our fabric with our right hand and pull that beginning tail end. And as we pull it, it will close up this center ring. And we'll secure it later when we weave in our ends. I'm gonna take a moment to measure. This should be about 1.5 inches, a little smaller. It's perfect. It is 1 7/16, so it's right in between the 3/8 and the half. Round 2, I'm going to chain 1 and work 10 single crochets. Usually we increase, but I'm trying to make a piece that will fit here inside this terracotta pot, and it starts out smaller and then gets bigger around the final edge. This part that we worked will actually be the bottom center piece. So we're going to gradually build it up instead of how you normally would work a circle. So our round 2 is not increasing. We're just going to work 10 single crochets. That's 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Insert our hook into the first stitch under both loops, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's a single crochet. Let's work 1 more. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. And we'll continue working until we have 10 single crochets all the way around, and we're back to the beginning, and then we'll slip stitch join. So now I have 10 single crochets worked, and my work is creating this bowl shape. That's what I want. Insert my hook into the first single crochet and complete a slip stitch. I'm going to work 1 more round, and then I'll stop to weave in this beginning tail end. Round 3, we're going to increase to 20. Start with a chain 1, and we're going to increase in single crochets, working 2 single crochets per stitch. So insert right into my first stitch and complete a single crochet. Then I'll insert my hook right back into that same exact stitch and work another single crochet. Then into the next stitch I'll work 2 single crochets. And I'm going to continue working into each stitch around 2 single crochets. At the end of this round over here, I'll end up with 20 single crochets, and then I'll slip stitch join to the first one. I've worked my 20th single crochet, insert my hook into the first stitch, and complete a slip stitch. Then I'll pull up on this loop so that I have a big loop and I don't lose it. And I'm going to take time to weave in my beginning tail end now. I'm going to weave in clockwise underneath all the stitches from the first round until I get back to the beginning. And now where I've come out is the beginning. I'm going to go 1 or 2 stitches past that, and then I'll pull to make sure that that ring is closed up tight. Now I need to work back into my work, so I'm going to rotate my fabric. I'm going to work back in the same direction I came, just across under several stitches. So I'm going into a nearby stitch. I'm not picking up the whole stitch on my needle. Instead of picking up the whole stitch like this, I'm going to insert my needle down in the center of that stitch, breaking it in half. Then I'll work under several stitches, and when I come out, I'm also going to break the stitch in half where I'm coming out of. This is going to help to capture my yarn. That's 2 passes. I work 3 passes, so I'm rotating my work so I can go back in the same direction I came, breaking both the insert and where I'm coming out in half so my yarn catches. And now that tail end is secure, it's not going anywhere, so I can fasten it off. Then I'm going to push it down so that that weave is on the inside. That's how it's going to be sitting in my pot, and now it'll be easier to work. I'll insert my hook back into that stitch and pull it down to normal tension. And for rounds 4 through 8, we're going to chain 1 and work a single crochet into each stitch around. Then we'll join. So chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch, and continue single crocheting all the way around. At the end of the round we have 20 single crochets. That is my 20th single crochet. Insert my hook into the first single crochet and slip stitch join. That completes round 4. I want 8 rounds in total, so I'm going to work rounds 5 through 8 exactly the same way as I did round 4. Chain 1, single crochet into the first stitch and each stitch around. After I've completed 20 single crochets, slip stitch join to the first one. You want to come in? Come on. That's 8 rounds, and they're fairly definable. You can see your stitches laying on top of each other, so you just count from that beginning round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, I thought I had 8. I'm just going to work one more. Now I have 8 rounds done. Round 9 I'm going to increase to 30. To do that, chain 1, work 2 single crochets into the first stitch, then 1 single crochet into the next stitch. And we'll continue this repeat all the way around. 2 stitches into the next stitch, 1 stitch into the next stitch, 2 single crochets into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch. Work all the way around. At the end you'll have 30 single crochets, and we'll slip stitch join to the first stitch. That's the end of round 9 with 30 single crochets. Round 10 is going to be single crochet into each stitch all the way around. At the end of this round 10 we'll have 30 single crochets. That's 30 single crochet, slip stitch join to the first stitch. For round 11 we're going to start decreasing now. We've increased to get our pot shape here. Increasing is getting bigger. Now we're going to begin decreasing so we can close up the top, and then this will sit inside of our pot. Round 11, chain 1. We're going to decrease in half double crochets, working 2 stitches together in each one. Yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 loops. That is a half double crochet 2 stitches together. Then we'll work a regular half double crochet into the next stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is the repeat that we'll take for this round. We'll work a half double crochet 2 stitches together into the next 2 stitches, and then a half double crochet into the following stitch. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 4. That is a half double crochet 2 stitches together. And now we'll work a half double crochet in the next stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. We're going to continue working in this manner all the way around. Half double crochet 2 stitches together, then half double crochet into the next stitch. At the end of this round, you're going to end up with 20 half double crochets, and then we'll slip stitch join to the first one. That's the end of round 11. Insert my hook into the first stitch and slip stitch join. Now you'll see that that hole is starting to close up on the top. We're going to work one more round of decreasing in half double crochet. Chain 1. This time, instead of working into 2 stitches and then 1 half double crochet after that, we're just going to half double crochet, decrease in 2 stitches all the way around. So yarn over, insert my hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all 4. That is the half double crochet decrease, 2 stitches together. We're just working that all the way around. So the next stitch is not just a regular half double crochet, it's a half double crochet decrease. And the next one is another half double crochet decrease. And all the rest of them, continue working all the way around. When you get back to the beginning, you'll have 10 half double crochets. There's my 10th stitch. Insert my hook into the first stitch and complete a slip stitch. We have this sort of strawberry shape going on. I'm going to pull up a big loop so I don't lose that stitch. And I'm going to place this inside my terracotta pot. I'm going to take my stuffing and I'm going to insert it into that hole. And I just want to keep stuffing until it feels comfortable, like it's not, if you push on it, make sure it feels solid, it doesn't feel like it's missing. Now I'm happy with that. I'll insert my hook back into the loop and pull it to normal tension. Then I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to half double crochet 2 stitches together again, working all the way around. The same way as I just did previously. And it won't work out evenly, so I'll work it 4 times. I don't know why I said it wouldn't work out evenly, because 10 divided by 2 is 5. So it works out perfectly, and you have 5 half double crochets. And then we'll slip stitch join to the first stitch. Before I do that, I'm going to pull up a loop. I'm going to put some more stuffing in there, because now that I've worked this other round, it doesn't feel as full as it did before. I just want to make sure that I'm pushing this stuffing all the way around inside the pot so that it takes on a full shape, so that up here it's not missing that, I don't know what the word is, but I want there to feel like there's stuffing all around this. Almost lost my loop there. I'm going to add a tiny bit more. Just so it all feels supported and not sunken in any spots. Completely supported whenever I touch it all the way around here, which I'm happy with it now. I'll insert my hook back into this loop and I'll pull it down to normal tension and slip stitch join to the first stitch. And I've left it all in the pot this whole time, so it takes the shape of that pot. I just pulled up a loop so I don't lose it. I'm going to fasten off a little bit longer than I normally would, because I'm going to just sew this closed. I'll take that loop that I pulled up on and I'll pull it all the way out so it breaks it. Then thread my needle. And now I'm just going to insert my needle. I'm going to do it very similar to how I weaved in the beginning end, but I'm going to work around the posts of these stitches. I'm inserting my needle down, then up, in, and then out, working around the post of the stitches. Now I'm back to the beginning. I'm going to pull it so it closes up that hole. And now I'm just going to work in a nearby stitch. I'm going to go vertically underneath several stitches. Then I'll turn this so that I can work back through those stitches, insert in a nearby stitch. I'm breaking this stitch in half as well. And I'm working all the way across under several stitches. And I do 3 passes, so this is my second pass. I'm going to do one more pass. And now I'll fasten off. This is the bottom of my cactus. This is the soil. Now I will work the cactus and sew it on top. I'm done with the brown. I no longer need that. I'm grabbing this green. I'm going to make another slip knot. Insert my hook into the loop on my finger and pull down to normal tension. Chain 4. I'll make another ring here by inserting my hook into the first chain, yarn over, pull through that loop and the loop on my hook. The ring is smaller this time than it was before, but it's still there in the center. Make sure we're not working into the top chain, but into the center. And we're also going to hold our beginning tail along the back of the chains. Chain 1. We're going to work 8 single crochets into that center ring and refresh our first single crochet. Insert your hook into the stitch, into the center ring, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through both loops. That's 1. We want 8 single crochets. Then we're going to slip stitch join to the first single crochet. Now we're going to work continuously, so there's no more joining for the remainder of this as we work, so we get a cylinder that does not have a seam. That's why we're working in a continuous manner. Chain 1, round 2, we're going to increase, working 2 stitches in each stitch all the way around. So insert our hook into that first stitch and work 2 single crochets. Then we'll insert our hook into the next stitch and work 2 single crochets. And we're going to continue working all the way around, working 2 single crochets per stitch. At the end we'll have 16 single crochets, but do not slip stitch join. I've just completed my 16th single crochet. We're working in a continuous manner now, so there is no joining at the end of each round. That is 16 single crochets. Insert our hook into the first single crochet and complete a single crochet. That is the first stitch of round 3, that single crochet that we just worked. And we'll work a single crochet into the next stitch and into each stitch around. It's very important here that you keep track of your stitches. We have just worked 3 single crochets, because when you get all the way around you won't be able to differentiate where the round starts and where the round ends. If you have a stitch marker, you would put your stitch marker into the first stitch. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use some scrap yarn that you've cut off. I just inserted my hook into the first stitch under both loops, and I made a loop with my waste yarn, and I'm just going to pull it through. And that's holding the place right now of the first stitch. So if I lose track of my stitches as I'm working all the way around, I know that this one that has the brown yarn is my very first single crochet. So I've worked 3 single crochets. I need 16 single crochets. I've worked all the way around. I'm back to the first stitch, and I can tell that it's my first stitch because the brown loop is in it. So I'm going to pull that out for now because I don't need it at this very moment. I'm going to pull up a loop so I don't lose this loop, and I'm going to weave in my beginning tail end. I'm going to do it the same way I did when I closed up the bottom of the dirt. I'm going to weave clockwise all the way around until I get back to where I started. Where I'm coming out from right now is where I started. I'm going to go a couple stitches past that. And now I can pull on that ring and it'll close up that hole. That's my first pass. Now I want to work back through the stitches I just finished. So I'm going into a nearby stitch. Then I'll rotate my fabric and I'll work into a nearby stitch, again working through those stitches I just worked. This is my third pass. It feels secure. Now I'm going to fasten it off. And I'll just push that down so I can continue working in the round here. This is going to be the top of my cactus, and I'm building the body of it. Working in these continuous rounds, the rows are not as defined as they are whenever you're joining, so it's very easy to lose track of the rounds you've completed. What I like to do is I take a piece of paper and I just tally up each time I finish another round. I want to work 12 rounds in total. Here I have 3 rounds done, and we're working them exactly the same way as we did round 3. Single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Use your stitch marker or your scrap waste to mark your first stitch so that you don't lose track of it, and then use a scrap piece of paper to keep track of the rows that you've completed. You can still see the rows here. This is our round 1, round 2, and round 3. It's just a little bit harder to define them once you get going. So I'm going to start working. I want 12 rounds in total, working single crochet into each stitch all the way around, 16 single crochets per round. That's the end of round 4. Here's my planner. I'm just going to I'll tally down here all the way on the bottom. 4 tally marks for round 4. Add another tally mark for completing round 5. And I'm going to continue working that way all the way around. As I finish another round, I'll add another tally mark here. I want there to be 12 rounds total. That is the end of my 12th round. Now I'm going to work a decrease in single crochet 2 stitches together all the way around. You'll end up with 6 single crochets. To work a decrease, insert your hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through. There's 2 loops on your hook. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. There are 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. That counts as 1 stitch. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 2 loops. Insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is your second stitch. Continue working until you have 8 stitches worked. There's my 8th stitch, and I'm going to pull up on my loop so I don't lose it. Now I'm going to start stuffing it. I'm just shaping it with my hands. I don't want it to be overstuffed, so after I've stuffed it quite a bit, now I'm just taking the shape that I'm looking for. And if it still doesn't feel like it has enough in there, then just add a little bit more. I'm not going to continue to decrease like I did before, because I'm going to just sew this on using all those stitches that I have. So I'm just going to fasten off a little long so I can use that to sew with. I'll take that loop that I pulled up on and I'll keep pulling it to break it. And then I'll thread my needle. Here's the dirt that I finished before. I want this to be centered on the dirt area. I'm just holding it at an angle here. I have the terracotta pot inside my ring finger, my pinky, and my thumb. And I'm holding the cactus with my index finger and my middle finger. And I'm holding it centered where I want it to be sewn on. I'm taking my tapestry needle and I'm just going to whip stitch it so you can see where it's coming out from over here. I'm going to insert my needle down the a green stitch, and I'm going to come out a brown stitch. So I've taken it down through the green stitch on the bottom and I've come out a brown stitch from the dirt and pull it all the way through. Then I'll go through another green stitch right above where I'm working, take my needle down the green stitch and come out a brown stitch. So there's a green stitch on my needle and there's a brown stitch on my needle. I've gone down through the green and out through the brown, and I'm going to pull it all the way through. And I'm going to continue rotating my cactus, going down a green stitch, coming out a brown stitch, when you are working through these stitches, just try to work as close to the cactus body as you can so your stitches are less visible. And continue all the way around until you have the body sewn on. And now I'm all the way back to the beginning. I'm just shaping it here. The whole thing is sewn on. I'm just going to weave in this end. And I'm just going to weave it in through the base of my stitches down here in the green. That way nobody will see it. And I'm going to do 3 passes like I normally do. Then I'll fasten off. And here's the base of my cactus. And it's not completely straight how I wanted it. That's my fault. That's how I sewed it on. But it's pretty straight. Now I'm going to work on the arms. I want my cactus to have 2 arms. So I'm going to make 2 of these exactly the same. I'm going to start with a slip knot. Insert my hook into the slip knot. Bring it to normal tension. Chain 4. Slip stitch join to form a ring. Insert it into the first chain. Yarn over. Pull through that chain and the loop on my hook. Chain 1. I'm holding the tail against my chains, and I'm going to work into that center ring. Not this top one where the chain is, but underneath that in the center there's a ring. It's a little tight. And we're going to work 8 single crochets into that ring. Then I'll slip stitch join to the first single crochet. And for the remaining rounds, we are not going to join. We're going to do a continuous method, just like we did when we were working the body of the cactus, but we're no longer increasing here. So these are going to have 8 single crochets around. I'm going to pull out my paper again so I can keep track of my rounds. That's round 1. For round 2, chain 1, single crochet into the first single crochet, and into each single crochet around. We're going to have 8 single crochets at the end of this round. there's the end of round 2. I have worked 8 single crochets. I am not going to slip stitch join. Round 3, I'm just going to insert my hook into the first stitch, and complete a single crochet. Inserted too far. That's the first stitch of round 3. I'm going to continue working, so I have 8 stitches. I'm going to pull up a big loop so I don't lose this stitch. I'm going to take this moment. It's a little bit tight in here, so I want to take this moment and weave in my beginning end while I can still get to it. I'm going to weave it in the same way that I did the body of the cactus. I'm going to use my finger inside here for support so I can keep the shape. This is the beginning. I'm going to go under a couple more stitches. Now the first pass is done, I'm going to pull on my tail so it closes this hole. Then I'll work back through. It's my second pass. Rotate it so I can work my third pass. Pull it tight. I'm happy with it. I'm going to fasten off. Then I'm going to pop that in. And I'm unrolling the fabric I already created. There's a little bowl shape that I'm going for. Let me write my second and third rounds. I want 6 rounds in total, so I'm going to work 8 single crochets, 1 in each stitch all the way around, and I'll do that until I have my 6 rounds. I'm keeping track with my paper. That's my last stitch. I'm pulling up the loop so I don't lose it. And now I'm going to stuff this a little bit. Then I'm shaping it with my fingers, rolling it to take the shape. And I want to make sure that I have enough stuffing in here, not too much, not too little, so if you need to add any now that you've rolled it, add a little bit more. shape it again, squeeze it, rotate it to take the shape of what you're going for. And when you're happy, then fasten off your yarn. You're going to sew this on, so fasten off a little bit long. Then take that loop that you had made and pull it all the way out to break it. First thing we're going to do is close this up. So we're going to do it the same way we did before. Here's where my tail end has come out from. Insert around the post of the next 2 stitches. I'm skipping this post. Insert into around the post of the next 2 stitches. Skipping the next post. Insert around the post of the next 2 stitches. Skip the next one around the post. Now I'm back to the beginning here. I'm pulling and it closes up that hole. Now I'm just going to secure it by working under several of those stitches that I just closed up. Very similar to how I would close up the center ring. So I've worked around it. Now I'm just going to work a couple passes across it, working back into my work. Now my arm is closed up. I'm going to take my cactus and wherever I want to put it, that is where I'm going to, you can put it down here, you can put it here in the center, sticking out, you can sit it alongside it. You can do one with no arms, you can do one arm, you can add a second arm, you can add as many arms as you want. Saguaro Cactus, they have no arms up until about 50 to 75 years. It's just the body of the cactus. Then it starts to grow arms at 50 to 75 years. So if you don't put any arms, your cactus is less than 50 years old. If you put 1 or 2 arms, it's a young cactus, and the more arms it has, the older it is. I'm going to sew this one on over here on the top. I think like that, so it's sticking out a little bit. Okay, my tail end is over here, and I'm putting that side up against my cactus. And then I'm holding the cactus with my middle finger, ring finger, and pinky, and my thumb and my index finger is holding the part I'm about to sew on. And I'm going to start sewing it very similar to how I sewed the body to the dirt. The stitches that are on the side of the cactus, I'm going to go into a stitch of the arm and come out a stitch of the body. I went in a stitch of the arm and I came out a stitch of the body. Then I'm going to go in the arm again, down in the arm, out through the body. In through the arm as I'm working my way upwards. In through the arm, out through the body. Then I'm working upwards again, alongside where the cactus body meets the arm. I'm in through the arm, through the body. In through the arm, out through the body. And it can be angled, it can be straight up against it. It's completely up to you. I like the way it looks here. So now I'm not going to work sewing upward anymore. I'm just going to secure it here in the middle, in through the arm. And sew it against the body. I'm rotating to the back, and I'm going to close up that gap. So I started down here on the bottom, then I went upwards, I worked one stitch here in the center, now I've rotated to the back, and I'm going to now go in through the body and out one of the stitches of the arm. I'm closing up this gap that's right here in the center. In through the cactus body, out through the arm. Working downward into the cactus, out the arm, I think one more stitch in the cactus body, out of the arm, and it's secure on there. I'm happy with how it's placed. Now I'm going to weave in my end. I'm here working in the arm under several stitches, close to where they have been joined in the center. That's 3 passes. Now I can fasten off. I was thinking I wanted to do 2 arms, but I think I might just do 1 arm on this one. I think I'm really happy with that. I'm going to show you how to make a flower to go on the top, and then your cactus can either have no flower or it can have the flower. Saguaro cactuses, they bloom flowers in the springtime. In the summer they make fruit. But they have a white flower with a yellowish center. I'm going to show you how to make one of those in a separate video. For now, I'm so happy with my little cactus. I'm pretty excited. It's so cute. And again, you can make as many arms as you want. You can do 2 of them on the same side, do 1 over here, 1 on the left. You can put 1 on each side. That is completely up to you, how you want your cactus to look. And if you want it to be completely secured in here, you can throw some glue in the terracotta pot and push it in there and it won't come out. But this is going to be sitting on a shelf, so I'm not worried about it. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Written pattern is going to be at iloveknots.com. I'll link that in the description below. Please smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.